Oh, we're live. Let's wait for people to file in while I get everything set up. Okay. Oops. And we need to remove these. Hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Let me know if the audio sounds good. I'm an amateur streamer. Very amateur. I make amateur videos, so I don't even know if what we got going on is working right. The goal for this stream is to try and get my outline together for the Sunrealm video. I should probably add a layer that says that so people know. Let's do text. Sunrealm. We are writing an outline. Let's make that smaller. There we go. Just so we know what we're doing here. But I need someone to say hello in the chat before I start going. I gotta know if I'm talking to myself or I'm talking to others. Where is the chat? I don't know how to... Oh, here we go. I have the wrong chat open. I'm sorry, everybody. That has to pop out here. Okay. All right. Hello, Steven. Hello, Beppis. Hello, Christy. Hello, Uncle Farrell. Okay, there we go. So the goal for this stream is to help me write my outline for the upcoming Sunrealm video, which will be the next one. My last video was, it was centered around the Halig Tree statue. It was centered around this statue, but I really just wanted to use that as a jumping off point to talk about the wider implications of the politics within the lands between, so we could start thinking about what would motivate groups of people to participate in the Night of the Black Knives and what comes from it, namely Deathroot. One of the comments that I got frequently in that video was my usage of the word cult. It was a little nitpicky. It didn't really go with the theorizing. So I wanted to give more context to the world of Elden Ring and the lands between, of what it looked like before the age of the Erd Tree. And to understand that, we have to look at the Sunrealm. So before we jump into the video, before we jump into writing the script, the Sunrealm is only mentioned on one item. It is the Sunrealm shield. It's got a 2% drop rate from those who live in death carrying it. Shield of Honor depicting a city crowned by the sun. It has seen better days. Much like the wear upon the shield, the seat of the sun is long faded away. So my goal for this is to figure out what is the best way to present the information in an order that is engaging, entertaining, and informative. And we're going to start with talking about prophecy, because I want to get it right out of the gate, knowing what we're looking at. Your lore videos made me respect my character, Int Fate, Sunrealm Soldier who wields Ghostflame. You know what? We're going to be hopefully we'll be talking about Ghostflame. Hopefully we will be talking about Ghostflame. So for those of you who are unaware, I do a Let's Play series called The Mimic Commentary, where someone's been watching. Awesome. Where we go through the game from beginning to end, and we try to just look at the information as it's presented to us so we can build our understanding of the game holistically. But since I've already played these games multiple times and we already know what happens next, it's hard to do a blind playthrough. So we started with the prophet. What makes the prophet so important is that they are punished for seeing prophecy. So they saw into the future, and they're punished for it. The blindfold talks about how they foretold misfortune and were persecuted and driven from their homes. Their robes have shackles around their necks to warn people not to listen to their sermon. If you alter it and you take off the shackle, it will say, made from rough fabric that scrapes against the skin like a sharpening file. The quote from Marwyn the Mage about prophecy. Is that the double-edged sword? Is that is in... Sorry, I'm getting... Thanks for sidetracking me, Steven. That's in... Is that Dance? No, is it Feast with Sam? What chapter is that? Marwyn. When I stream, I get sidetracked because I got ADHD. Does he say prophecy? Here we go. Born amidst salt and smoke beneath the bleeding star, I know the prophecy. Marwyn turned his head and spat a gob of red phlegm on the floor. Not that I would trust it. Gorgon of Old Geese once wrote that a prophecy is like a treacherous woman. She takes your member in her mouth. And you moan in pleasure of it and think, how sweet, how fine, how good this is. And then her teeth snap shut and your moans turn to screams. That is the nature of prophecy. I don't think I will be including that. I don't think I'll be including that in the video. So actually, just as a heads up, the reason why this is actually what the scripts look like from now on. Like the last video's script, codename I Hate Godwin, was just item descriptions in order and images to just give me an idea of what I want to talk about. So we're going to first start building with prophecy, and then we're going to go into the war against the giants. So far we just have a little bit here. So we're going to be building this together. So the idea is that we're looking at these prophets. They could see the future, and they're punished for seeing the future. So what is the future that they're seeing? It's they start with Catch Flame, incantation originating from a sinister prophecy. The Flame of Ruin is, I never pronounce this word right, the anathema, I'm not sure which one, to the Erd Tree, but prophets sometimes glimpse it within the faith all the same. So if we look at Flame of Ruin, we're going to want to do Flame of Ruin. The next Flame of Ruin item to tie this would be Surge of Flame. So this is how, this is really how I do my videos. I just look for the item, I look through the text dump, and I find the item that ties into it, and so following the war against giants. So we have this prophecy that there is the Erd Tree will burn. People see within the future. And so because there is this prophecy of the Erd Tree burning, the giant's flame has to be contained following the war against the giants. So then we'll go to war against the giants, and we want, which one do we want? I think we'll do Marika at the first church. In regards to the Halig tree Milko built, do you think Elfio housed an older tree? We might actually talk about Elfio in this script when we get to it. We might talk about it because it is tied to the Sun Realm. The Sun Realm covers a lot of stuff. So this is where I need help with. Does it make sense to jump from, we talk about the prophecy, and then we go straight into Marika at the first church? I guess if we're doing this, we want to think People know the future. People know the future. They know the Flame of Ruin can or will burn the Erd Tree. So did Marika... So did the war against the giants occur to prevent a prophecy? I don't know if I'm jumping too fast into that. My goal is to talk about who was participating in the war against the giants, but I want to make sure we have strong enough framing for it. I have an introduction for this video written. It's a lot of stuff. And it's mostly about how your character is the most important character within the story because they, you choose the ending. You get to choose what the Lands Between looks like by the time you get to the end of the game. So people know about you. I guess I should do Forge of the Giants. And then we'll do Melina Forge, or Flame of Frenzy Forge. That one makes more sense to me. So we have the prophecy of the burning of the Erd Tree, and the Giant's Flame is the Flame of Ruin capable of burning the Erd Tree. The only person who... Let's do Chapel of Anticipation. That's a good enough image to spark my mind. You're tarnished at the... I should do Prophecy Painting too. So this is where it gets a little wild. Tell me if this all makes sense. I'm trying to get our... I'm trying to get everything together so it makes logical sense why we are going here. Where I'm going with this? Okay, so the idea with prophecy is that if someone can see the future, I guess let's take it back. The entire goal for this video is to talk about what characters don't know and how that influences what they do. For example, does Godfrey know that Marika has a space bug living in her stomach? Does he know that? Probably not. He might have decided to do things differently with his life if he knew that the woman he was going to be king with had a giant space bug that can control reality living in her stomach. He might have done things differently. So the goal is to show how if someone knows the future, how does that dictate their action? So, for instance, with Marika, if she's trying to prevent the burning of the Erd Tree, well, then the war against the giants is counterproductive. Because if we look at Dead Fire Giants, this is a good question. Thank you for asking that. If we think about... this is a good enough image for me. Actually, this one's clearer. If we think about the mountaintops of the giants, that one's a better one. If we think about the mountaintops of the giants and just how many giants are actually there, it's not many. There's one. There's only one fire giant. Our Tarnished is able to defeat one singular fire giant as opposed to a dozen. If you had to fight a dozen fire giants, then is the prophecy inevitable or just a possible future? Well, we know that this prophecy in particular is inevitable because you can't beat Elden Ring without burning the Erd Tree. There are prophecies that lead to possible futures. That would be the endings of the game. If we think about our Mending Runes, this is all stuff I want to talk about in the video, but I got to figure out how we get to it. If we look at the Mending Runes, this looks like a sun, this looks like a sun, and this all looks like a sun. These are all possible futures that are kind of evoking the same thing of like a revival of the sun as the ruling power, not the Erd Tree, because we burned down the Erd Tree. But no matter what comes after, no matter if you do Ronnie's ending, Frenzy Flame ending, Mending Rune endings, you have to burn the Erd Tree. It's either you have to burn it or Melina has to burn it. That goes to, what's that? The one who walks alongside flame shall one day meet the road of destined death. That is part of the prophecy. That and it's vague. Is the flame Melina, who has a vision of fire, as we learned from Mesmer, or is it the frenzy flame? The prophecy fits for both of them, but the outcome is the same, that the Erd Tree will burn and then something new will come from it. So how do we build this into it? So we start as the prophet. So characters in the game won't know the difference between for sure prophecies and possible futures. We know because we're outside the game. Yeah, so we have a bird's eye view of all of Elden Ring. We get to look at every single possible event. Like, we know everything that can happen in the game. We know every event that happens. We know, every possible outcome. We just have to decipher it like they would. We have complete information of the entirety of the story. Other people don't. If burning is a must, then leaving great fire weaponry around is also a must. Also cult of fire to keep the flame alive. Just like the guardians of the flame. See, this is what's so tough. It's hard to start with prophecy because it's important that we know it, but I want to solidify. Maybe I just leave it open-ended and confusing so we can tie it up again. So I wanted to start with, watch the Mimic commentary. We began as a prophet, so we can see the future. The future that we see is the burning of the Erd Tree. Our prophet is punished for it. And they're punished for it because it's a prophecy that's going to come true. There's the prophecy painting that shows the Chapel of Anticipation. The Chapel of Anticipation is where your Tarnished arrives. When you get to the mountaintops of the giants, there's all these dead fire giants. You only have to fight one of them to reach the forge, where either you or Melina will burn down the Erd Tree. So, people know the future. They know the Flame of Ruin can burn the Erd Tree. But did they know that it would? That's a good one. So when we think about Marika, let's do Marika. Let's do this one. We have Marika is the Eternal. She should, if she's the Eternal, I don't want to make that a hyperlink. If Marika is the Eternal, we should be thinking about the possibility of how long has she lived. Is she trying to prevent this prophecy or initiate the prophecy? I think that's the angle we're going to go with. We know from the Fourth Church of Marika and the Echo of Marika that it's her and guidance. Let's see, let's get all these together. Put the giants to the sword. In Marika's own words, "Hark, brave warriors, hark, my lord Godfrey, we commend your deeds. Guidance hath delivered ye through each ordeal. To the place ye stand, put the giants to the sword, and confine the flame atop the mount. Let this new epoch begin, an epoch glistening with life. Brandish the Elden Ring for the age of the Erd Tree." So we know that Marika is the one who wants the fire giants killed, and she wants the flame confined. Is this so our Tarnished in the future can burn the Erd Tree with minimal resistance, or was she doing this to prevent it from happening? Whatever the reason she tried to do it, the outcome is the same, but what is her goal. Marika is a very complicated character, so it's difficult for us to decipher her just on her own. So instead, let us figure out what is everyone else's goal in fighting the fire giants. And to do that, we have to know who fought against the fire giants. All right, perfect. There we go. That's our introduction. Now we get to the juicy stuff. Maybe the prophecy is initiated with her trying to prevent it. So the difficulty here, we'll actually talk about it. The prophecy, the future is determined with the removal of destined death, and we'll hopefully we'll get to that. One of the goals that I have for this script is I want to be able to talk about the each of the mending rune endings and how they relate to the wider story of Elden Ring. Fia's mending rune ending, that is very Sunrealm. Goldmask's ending, that explains the Golden Order, causality and regression, fundamentalism, and kind of the Elden Ring as a whole. And then Dung Eater's ending describes the Hornsent and their practice of spirituality and how that allows them to see the future. Each of these groups can see the future, but it looks different to them based on their perspective and what information they actually get. Well, it's interesting that you bring up the Zamor because we're going to have to talk about those. Will have to be at the end of the video because the Zamor, we'll put them in here. We'll try and order these. So the interesting thing about the Zamor is that they're long-lived warriors. And if we look for long-lived, oh wait, we want to do seldom born. Long-lived is also used for the face of the Newman. So we know that the Zamor are Newman. Marika's a Newman. Those who participate in the Night of the Black Knives are Newman. You find Newman runes in Mogwyn Dynasty, Elphael, Divine Tower of Caelid, Deeproot Depths, and I think that's it. Mogwyn, Deeproot Depths, Elphael, Caelid Divine Tower. I think those are the 4 places you find Newman runes. So we have the Zamor as an offshoot of the Newman. They're essentially a different like subculture or sub-race of people. The Fingers were at least interested in preventing the prophecy. Well, the Fingers are also participating in the Fingers are also participating in the all prophecies are self-fulfilling. All prophecies are self-fulfilling, but the Fingers are participating in the burning of the war against the giants. We have the giants conquering Hero's Grave. Let's see, banners. In the giants conquering Hero's Grave, there are the 2 finger banners. So we know that the 2 fingers. This is actually going to be important because the 2 fingers are part of the Sun Realm as well. I actually. Let me see if I can find it. Here, let me show you guys something cool. But yeah, all the prophecies are self-fulfilling, and this is where it gets. This is like where it's. I don't know how I put this. We're not there yet in the script writing, but the Golden Order is founded on causality and regression, cause and effect. Regression is the mean of things coming together. You know, everything's going to return back to the original state. It's essentially like a domino chain effect. So if you know how the dominoes will fall, then you can get the outcome you want by making the initial conditions the way you want them, if that makes sense. We'll get to it when we start writing about it. The Newman could just be the common ancestor for the Zamor, Nox, the Shamans. Yes. Not the Cutting the Cutting Gifted tribe too, yeah. Yeah, the Newman is not a culture. Newman is not a culture. It's a fantasy race. They're kind of like elves, you know? And the Nox are a culture. The Zamor are a culture. The Shamans are a culture. Cutting Gifted tribe, they're kind of a culture, but they're like really downriver from... I'm thinking the Cutting Gifted tribe is most likely an offshoot of the Nox, but I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure, but they're definitely influenced that way. I wanted to show you guys something cool. let me see if I have it in here. I think it's heal. This is all of my, that's urgent heal. Oh, here it is. Okay, this is really, really cool. So, this is at Castle Sol. I was farming for their set. This guy's set. As you can see, I'm wearing the arcane hat. But then I noticed something. So this has to do with the 2 fingers. Check out what this guy does. Let's fast forward a bit. Only the guys in Castle Sol will do this. Look at it. Look at him. Look at him. He just used urgent heal. You see that? Isn't that awesome? So you can see it has the 2 fingers thing there. We also find indications of... So we have the giant conquering hero's grave. So the 2 fingers as a religion that has these banners exists, you know, before the age of the Erd Tree. Yeah, we've never seen it. So this is also part of the title of this video is gameplay video, because part of the idea that I wanted to push to like emphasizes is how a lot of the lore and story is hidden with participating in the gameplay mechanics. So because I was farming for this low drop rate item that's at the end of the game, since I was engaging with the gameplay, did I find this? Did I discover this? I don't know if. Let's see if the wiki has this, because I don't think anyone's ever talked about this before. Banished Knight. Does it say that he'll use heal? Oh yeah, okay, here we go. A giant. It's on the wiki. A knight with a halberd at Castle Sol may cast urgent heal when injured, but no one talks about that, like what that means for the lore. That the banished knights at Castle Sol, is like, I don't know, that's like crazy to me. So we'll get to that. That's part of the Sunrealm stuff too. But this was like, I was so excited when I saw this. I was like, blew my mind. Did I get the item from this kill though? I did not. Okay, where were we? So we have the Zamor are there. That's a guy. There's actually there is a group that was at, oh, too big of an image. That there is a group who fought during the war against the giants that I think is going to blow your mind. My day is going swell. No, howdy, it's an honor that you're watching me live. Okay, so we're trying to decipher who's there. Okay, so we know Marika's there. Oh, we need Godfrey's there. Whoa, look at that face. Holy crap, what a scary dude. We also have to talk about Godfrey's relationship to Sarash. So I want to do... I guess I'll just say Godfrey and Sarash. His warriors, which are the Crucible Knights. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you appreciate the gameplay stuff. Yeah, one of the most important things about Elden Ring is that it is a video game, and that's how you're supposed to engage with the world. Mesmer is probably there. Mesmer is most likely not there, but people connected to Mesmer are there. I think Mesmer is too young to be at the war against the giants. I think he's too young to be there. Have I dived into Night Rain yet? Yeah, I have. I haven't done any videos on it, but I have. What we're going to do for Night Rain is we're going to talk about... it probably will be after this video, depending on how this one comes together. I want to really talk about the Gloam-Eyed Queen in this video too. Night Rain stuff, when we talk about Night Rain, we're going to talk about time travel and how Night Rain solves a lot of Elden Ring's time travel paradoxes, and it delves into like a lot of the meta stuff too. Doesn't Radigan have something to do with the Zamor? Yes, he does. That was they were lovers, star-crossed lovers. A fire giant and an ice queen, and so this one. So we have to put. Okay, so Godfrey and Sarash are here. Godfrey's Crucible Knights. We got to put a pin in this, though. The pin in this. How did they get their powers? The Zamor are there. Long lived. Face of the Newman. Let's see. Elden Ring. Newman. Character creator. Because there's a lot of people against the War of the Giants that... We'll just put you here. I want to find proof of the alien spaceship. Well, the proof is that here, wait. I don't know if people have seen me do this joke before. So this is a Memory Stone, Elden Ring. That's a Memory Stone. And so is this. This is also a Memory Stone. There's your proof it's a spaceship. Was the Snowy Crone a Zamor? She could be related to the Zamor, but she probably isn't a Zamor. She probably isn't a Zamor. Because she also looks like a Wraithcaller. She also has the doll with the 4 limbs. I think the Snowy Crone is supposed to be confusing. Mesmer's Impaler symbols all throughout the Mountain Giants. Doesn't members... Well, those... Here. So someone asking about Mesmer and the impaling. We have the... what is it? I think I have the image already here. Yeah, so we see that these guys are impaled, but they have the thorns on them. So if we actually look at impale, I think... Yeah, so this most likely... This is... I think you're supposed to think that it might be Mesmer after the fact. But when we look at who is at the mountaintops of the giants, we have the Elden Ring, Briars of Punishment. We have the, what are those characters called? The criminals. What do they look like? You know who I'm talking. These guys. So these people are, they work with the fire monks. They use Briars of Punishment, exile criminals, wound the caster with thorns of sin, sending a trail of blood thorns running through the ground to impale enemies from below. So we're seeing that with the fire giants, that they are getting impaled from below with these thorns. The guilty, their eyes gouged by thorns, live in eternal darkness. Eternal darkness is actually and that's where they discover the blood star. Here, this is one of the ways that I like to do theorizing too, is I like to find words that repeat multiple times. So the Briars of Sin live in eternal darkness, and eternal darkness has the spell, which is the lost sorcery that destroyed the eternal city. So we have to tie the destruction of the eternal city to a sin of some sort. So then we start looking for things that have to do with sin, and then we can tie those all together. But that's neither here nor there right now. Now in Night Rain, it's a future. Night Rain takes place in kind of like the end of time. Snowy Cone could... So just from my perspective of Night Rain, it is non-canon canon. Like, I'll give you an example. When you choose an ending in Elden Ring, and I didn't choose the same ending, are they both canon or are they not canon? It's kind of like, that's how I see it. It doesn't exactly exist within the timeline of our story. As the director says, it's in parallel. I would say that these are like, if you were watching like a Marvel movie or something, or and there's all these different timelines or whatever, there's the golden timeline that has the golden order of events, and then there isn't. All right, no more Night Rain questions. You're getting me distracted. Thank you, Max. Also, Max, thank you for being a member for, I think that's over 6 months. Okay. Where were we? Oh, yeah, we're talking about who is at the war against the giants. Godfrey's Crucible Knights, put a pin in this. How do they get their powers? Zamor, they're long-lived. That's Newman. Who else do we... Oh, we need the Newman rune. The Newman rune. Newman's rune. And let's grab that. Matthew, that is the question we're trying to answer right now. Who is Marika's army? We also have the trolls. The trolls betray. The trolls are also there. I don't know which order we're going to put all these in. Trolls betray. Elden Ring. Ice troll. Let's grab you. These guys are important. The trolls betraying, very important. Because the trolls are allied with the Carians. A lot of interesting stuff there. We also have, I think I need trolls great sword. Trolls sword. What is it? Trolls sword? Let me just look up war against the giants. We also need flame protect me. These guys are there. So the fire monks are there. So Elden Ring, fire monk. These guys are there. Said that the incantation, and then we need Briars of Sin. Can we imply the Drake Knights were there if Theodorix was there? Hey, you slow down. You slow down for a second, all right? We're not there yet. We're not there yet. All right, if these guys are there, Briars of Sin. We're doing this. We need the criminals. Elden Ring, exiled criminals. Not these guys. We want the Thorn criminals. Exiled Thorn. Does anyone know what those guys are called? Oh, there we go. These are what I want. Which are cast by these guys, which explains why the giants look like this. Oops. Slowing down. Don't worry, no, we're gonna get there. You brought up the Drake Knights, and they're very important. Okay, still need war against the giants. We're getting the easy ones out of the way. Then I'm gonna show you the cool ones. I need to find the not some more Troll's Golden Sword. That's what we need. Okay. So who else is there? We have Marika's there. Godfrey and Sirach is there. We haven't talked about Sirach's stuff yet. Were the giants subjugating the smaller giants, the other species like the Horns and the Misbegotten? Maybe Marika created the Misbegotten to combat their giants. So the interesting... That's an interesting question. Because we know... Like, so... I don't know if we'll... I don't know. Highland Warriors. Maybe Highland Warriors. Maybe. Maybe Highland Warriors. We'll get to it. We'll get to it. Slow down. Slow down. The Forge of the Giants requires the sacrifice of a maiden. A kindling maiden. So, to me, that is, like, very... Especially... Oh, gosh. Let me open this on a different page. Because it might get gross. Wilder. Wild. Actually, you know what? Is this... Alright, spoilers for Berserk. So, this guy is wild. He is definitely evoking the fire giants, and he is... There. He's a very gross guy. He is Rapacious. He is a sexual predator. Very bad dude. And it makes me think, it makes me tie that the Forge's flame needs to, like, they're trying to sacrifice, they might be sacrificing maidens to it. And, like, even though the fire giants are, like, subjugated terribly in the war against fire giants, they are most likely not, like, a very nice fantasy race. You know, we see in the fight. Yeah, I know. That's why I was careful with the page. When we see in the fight, he sacrifices his own flesh to summon the power of the fell god, but that doesn't mean he can't be sacrificing other people's flesh, like sacrificing other people to the fire, kind of like what Melina does. So yeah, I don't think the fire giants are probably that good. Okay, so we have Godfrey and Sarash, but we haven't even touched Sarash yet. Godfrey has his Crucible Knights. We keep getting Highland Warriors, probably the Highland Warriors. Okay, we'll do a Highland Warrior. Highland Warrior set, Elden Ring. All right, we'll throw in a Highland Warrior. That is Highland. Do we want, or should I do the Highland Axe? Oh, you know, that actually, ooh, that, you know, we're gonna save. Ooh, we're gonna save that. We're gonna put these guys at the bottom. We're gonna put these guys at the bottom. Because that actually, the roars, that adds a lot. That's a good one. You'll see, we're cooking. Don't worry, we're cooking, guys. Happy to have you saying hi. Look at all the members in the chat. So happy you guys are all members. I appreciate it. I'm so happy that we have so many people who were watching the member commentary. No, there's rune bears in the mountaintops. In the consecrated snowfield, there's like, I think 2 or 3. Are the formless serpents there? Nobody knows. Oh, so the Erdtrees. So my theorizing is the ash that you find in Leyendell, when you first get to Leyendell, that is most likely from the previous maidens that have been burned before, including Bernal's maiden and Juno Haslow's maiden. If you don't know, I think it's when you go fight Juno Haslow at the Shack of the Lofty, there is a burnt corpse in there that has the Traveling Maiden's attire, or the Traveling Finger Maiden attire, which tells us that his maiden was also burned. And he was close to becoming a lord. Okay, is that... We haven't even talked about the Godskins yet, because those guys are going to come later. So these are the easy ones. Godfrey has his Crucible Knights, they have the Zamor, they have the Trolls, they have the Fire Monks, they have the Briars of Sin, I think, and the 2 Fingers are also there. So this, very interesting stuff. Now here, who, is there anyone else, before I continue with the big one? Is there anything else? I think that's it for who's at the war against the Giants. Bernal's mate, no, it's not cut content. We look at Beast Champion. Until his maiden threw herself into the fire. Right there. So, I mean, Bernal's maiden, like, the NPC is cut, but the lore isn't cut. It's still there until his maiden threw herself into the fire. And this would give Bernal reason to... the Caden... Caden sellswords could be there. Though I don't want to talk about Cadens until I talk about Mimics. I don't want to talk about Cadens until we talk about Mimics. The sellswords could be there. Yeah. Maybe I could add them. It's... the Land of Reeds, I think those guys may have come after because it's Okina when we think of Okina, they came seeking death from him after he became like a demon swordsman allied with Moog. Are Godwin's dragons helping? No, this is before. This is before then. This is very early in the timeline. This is very early. Okay, so I think that's it. So I think that's it for all of the people that should be, that everyone knows is there. Now here I think is the fun thing. Let's do smithing stone. Okay. Smithing stones 7 and 8. So the interesting thing about smithing stones 7 and 8. Are there still astrologers? Yes, there are astrologers there, but we don't know if they're participating. I don't think we have anything to say that they participated against the giants. But we will talk about astrology too when we start talking about what the sun realm looks like. I'm gonna say we're holding off on the Drake Warriors. We're almost there. We're almost there. The Finger Creepers. Are the Finger Creepers fighting? I don't know if they fight. We're getting there. We're getting there. Hey, you guys, look, slow down with these. This is the big one right here. Right here. Smithing Stone 7, thought to have been used to hone the weapons of champions, the war against the giants at the birth of the Earth Tree. Okay. Where can you get Smithing Stone 7 from? Well, we can look in the wiki. These are Zamor ones. I need the regular ones. Smithing Stone 7. So these smithing stones are for people to hone their weapons in the war against the giants. Who drops these smithing stones? Can anyone answer? Before I scroll down, don't cheat. Who drops them? Shadow of the Erd Tree. I'll give you that hint. Shadow of the Erd Tree. Anybody? No idea? Wait, how do I... Alright, we'll scroll down. Yes, the Fire Knights do. Someone else drops them too. Not a lot of... And the Black Knights. There we go. There we go. Black Knights and the Fire Knights. Yep. So in Shadow of the Erd Tree, in the base game, miners, golems, Halig Tree soldiers, Mausoleum soldiers, these guys are in the mountaintops, so that could explain why they dropped them, but we'll talk about the Mausoleum soldiers in a bit. But the big one is the Black Knights and the Fire Knights. So if we start looking at the Fire Knight, let's see, we want the Fire Knight armor. Okay, so the Fire Knights hailed from the upper echelons of Erd Tree society. Why do they hail from Erd Tree society? Well, most likely they were perhaps royalty before the war against the ancient giants, and they worked with Marika and Godfrey and Sarash to fight against the fire giant. Actually, you know what? I have to put one more thing before we continue. Interesting thing when we talk about the Crucible Knights, I have to put... I don't want to get too ahead. Furnace. Visage. We want this there, too. So the Fell God of Fire haunts the Horn Scent. So the Horn Scent have a... they have a stake in this. Oh, no, I'll tell you where the Black Knights are from. I'll tell you where the Black Knights come from. Okay. So the Fire Knights hailed from renowned families of Erd Tree's upper echelons. Why do they come from renowned families of the Erd Tree echelons? Well, the Erd Tree begins... The Age of the Erd Tree begins with the war against the giants. So, most likely, these are probably noble families and their knights fought in the war, so they get elevated in status. Okay, now the Black Knights also drop them. So we need to get two things. So, yep, there. Paralam, you're on the right path here. Black iron. Their armor is made of black iron. However, their weapons are made of steel. Okay. So, where did the Fire Knights come from? Well, we don't know. But what about the Black Knights? Where did the Black Knights come from? Well, their armor is made from black iron. Who else has black iron? If we look through Shadow of the Erd Tree, guys, what's his name? The Albinoric on the boar. He has black iron. Let's get him. So wherever the Black Knight's armor was made, and wherever Gaius's armor was made, might be the same place. So who else has black iron? Just Gaius and the Black Knights. Okay. What about in the base game? Who has black iron in the base game? The Drake Knights have black iron. And where are the Drake Knights found? Drake Knight. That's the Dark Knight. That's Batman. That is found in Farum Azula. It's found hidden in Farum Azula. Okay, who else has black iron? The Fire Monks have black iron. Actually, I have an image of the monks already. And our last black iron is the Black Flame Monks, but we are going to go with... Oh, these guys also have it. The Fire Prelates. Let's make sure we get everyone with black iron. Everyone with black iron. Fire Prelate. And this is how we get into the Sun Realm, everybody. This is how we get into the Sun Realm. Where is Maliketh's armor? Maliketh's helm. Here we go. Decorated with gold. That whole... And the decorated with gold... Here, black iron decorated with gold. Wait, it says on this guy is black iron ornamented with gold. So both very similar. There's actually... let's get Maliketh. Okay. So, hey Jax, any other games where you get this deep into it when you play? Not really, just mostly Elden Ring. I mean, I try and think about the games that I'm playing, but Elden Ring is special for me. That, I think, is it for Black Iron, but there is also, let's see, Mountaintops of the Giants Iron. I don't have an image of it. I want... Oh, gosh. So when you're in the mountaintops, there are iron ore veins all over the place. It's like you like trip over them. So I'm going to need to get a screenshot. Maybe if I just do a iron ore from Minecraft to remind me. Okay. Okay. So we have... We know who is on Godfrey's side. We got the Crucible Knights. Maybe the Zamor on Marika's side. They're Newman. We got the Fire Monks. We knew they were there. We got the Trolls. They betrayed. We don't know why they betrayed yet. But then we start looking at who dropped Smithing Stone 7s. Falling against the war. Well, now the Fire Knights, who were expelled. Black Knights. Gaius. So where do these guys come from? Where do these guys come from? Well, when we look in the base game, who has black iron? The Drake Knights, the Fire Monks, the Fire Prelates, and Maliketh. Okay. Now, Maliketh is interesting because Maliketh will give us the Beast Claw Great Hammer. Which tells us about Sarash, the Lord of Beasts, who went on. She has black armor, but it's not black iron. It's not black iron. Redon, they might. So, don't get too far ahead. We don't need it. We don't need to go. Yeah, Tarkus too. Tarkus was at the war against the Giants. We just need to tie these groups together. The black iron is being produced by a certain group. Black steel is newer. We will talk about. So yeah, black steel. Thank you for bringing that up. I'll bring this up probably later in the video. The black steel has blessed with Erd Tree incantation. So you got these people in black iron armor who then get newer steel weapons and their Erd Tree incantation. So we're seeing that they kept the same armor, but they got new weapons. But we're not there yet. So we get this from the Bestial Sanctum. Yeah, well, I think it's only mentioned. It's part of that thing. Why? Denko asked, "Why is the Sun Realm mentioned only once by name?" It's, victory is written by or history is written by the victor. If we look at a map, lands between. Let's open this completely. This is something I want to talk about in this video once we get to it. Oh, geez, Louise. So this is, now that we have black iron tied to Farum Azula, and now it's tied to Sarash. So these guys who have black iron, all of these guys should have come from Sarash, Lord of Beast. The Black Nails represent Sarash, Lord of Beast, who went on to become King Godfrey's regent. So he is the Lord of Beasts before he's Godfrey's regent. So he already has power and esteem. We could actually, I got to think, how do we want to tie this now? So we'll do, this is found at the Bestial Sanctum, and the Bestial Sanctum has the Farum Great Bridge, which ties us to Farum Azula. What do we get at Farum Azula? Who is there? We have the Banished Knights. We have the Banished Knights. We have the Banished Knights. We have the Farum Beastmen. Who else do we have? Obviously the Ancient Dragons, but these guys are out of the picture right now. Who else do we have that we could tie here? Oh yeah, the Drake Knight, obviously. And the Drake Knights. These are all very firmly Farum-related people worshipping dragons. Let me do Beast, Farum Beast Priest. Not him. I want the white fur. What are those guys called? Beastman Incantation. I want the guy who casts the guy who casts lightning. I need that image. White fur, Beastman, white fur. Oh, this right here. This is what I want. Beastman, okay. We'll get to, I don't think the Lord of Beasts lived, maybe he could have lived in the fortified manor, but we'll get to it. We'll get to it. So, what else do we find? Slow down on the Godskins. Godskins, we gotta wait. We gotta wait on the Godskins. The next thing that we find in Farum Azula is beastmen who live in death. We get these guys. And they have our Sunrealm shield. Okay, now we get to talk about the Sunrealm. Okay. So this is how we're tying it together. Let's do a recap to see how we got here before we jump off the deep end to make sure this all makes sense. Because we're going to start talking about the political alliances that come together that are necessary for Marika to be able to take down the fire giants. Where does this fit in? So let's go from the top. Actually, before we do, I have to use the bathroom. So I'm going to mute my microphone and I'm going to change the thing to using the restroom. One moment. Let's do... Where's my webcam? There I am. And let's change this text. Writing. Outline for next video. I don't remember what I said last time. Okay. So before we do a recap, anyone have any questions? Anyone have any insights? Anybody have any comments? Fire Giants and Sunrealm on the same side. They can be on the same side, but we're going to see a lot of, like, betrayals going on. That's part of, like, the whole betrayal thing. This has to do with the... this is who is part of the war against the Giants. I don't know if we're going to talk about the Stormhawks when we talk about who's part of the Sunrealm, but right now we're just talking about we'll get to it. When a finger and another finger love each other very much, they make a shadow. That's shadow puppets. Aren't there eagles too? There's eagles there, but I don't know if they're fighting there, but we'll talk about them. Oh, actually, yeah, wait. I have to do... We'll add that at the bottom. Who do we find in Farum Azula? I forgot. We find the... That's what we're talking about. Farum Azula Stormhawks. That's... Yep. Herks. I'm not going to include the Ancient Dragons right now because that has to do with something else. At least my theorizing. And the Stormhawks. Okay. The vibe is the Sunrealm existing at the same time as Fire Giant. Yes, so the Sunrealm is going to be a large part of Elden Ring's pre-Erd Tree history. It's going to kind of... The Sunrealm is going to last from the sometime after the prehistoric era into a little bit of overlap with the Age of the Erd Tree, and then early in the Age of the Erd Tree, the Sun Realm is gone. Okay. Oh, my hard drive keeps disconnecting. Let me just unplug it. Okay. Did I include Stormox? Now I did. What else do we have? Dogs and bears. That would be beasts. Yeah, so that would be part of the beast men. Who do you think employed the Fire Knights, if not Mesmer? Well, I would tie them. They're not. I don't think they're his knights yet. So we'll get to Mesmer. This has to. When we start talking about Mesmer, we have to talk about Marika as the Gloam-Eyed Queen, the Queen of the Sun Realm. So I don't. We're not there yet. Whoa, we're not there yet. We're not there yet. Hit by an eclipse. Well, that has to do with some prophecy theorizing. The charm talismans show eras of 3 Shaman Nox and Hornsent. What charm talismans? What reality check? What talisman are you talking about? Yeah, see, that's where I'm putting it. The knights are older than Mesmer, but they follow Mesmer because he is the son of Marika, and he's like what we're going to try and build into this theorizing. Marika is Gek? Yes, Marika is the Gek. What we're trying to build into this theorizing is how what is being lost in the Land of Shadow, what type of history is being lost, who are we trying to eliminate from memory, and some of those people, and what part of Marika's past are we trying to eliminate, including her past as the Gloam-Eyed Queen. I tell you, the story makes a lot of sense when it's Marika as the Gloam-Eyed Queen. It's like, just puts it all together. Thank you for watching the videos. Okay, so we're going to do a little recap to make sure this makes sense. So we started with advertising for the Mimic commentary. We chose the prophet so we could see the future. The people are being punished for the future they see. And the main big prophecy is the burning of the Erd Tree. We know the burning of the Erd Tree is going to come true because the prophecy painting depicts the Chapel of Anticipation, where your Tarnished arrives, and eventually your Tarnished has to go to the mountaintops of the Giants, where they have to defeat one singular fire giant to reach the Forge. And then either Melina or your Tarnished with the Flame of Frenzy burns the Erd Tree. So people know the future, and they know the Flame of Ruin can burn the Erd Tree, but did they know that it would? Well, we have Marika the Eternal. She has long lived, seldom born as a Newman. She has the perspective of history that no one else does, by most likely being older than everybody else. Oh, I got a text message. One moment before I finish my recap. Oh my goodness. Okay. So, did she do the war against the Giants to prevent a prophecy? Well, it's hard to, it's hard for us to know Marika's intentions because she is this eternal being. So let us look at who was there. Godfrey and Sirach are there, and his warriors. So the Crucible Knights are there. How did the Crucible Knights get their powers? Well, we know that the Hornsent, thanks to the Furnace Visage, the Fell God of Fire haunts the sagas of the Hornsent. So perhaps down the line in this theorizing, we will see perhaps an alliance between Godfrey, Marika, and the Hornsent that allow his knights to get those crucible powers. The Zamor, who are mortal enemies of the fire giants since time immemorial, because they are, they worship freezing winters, and they're also long-lived warriors. The only other time we see long-live in the text is talking about the Newman, and we know that the Newman are, in fact, the same stock as Queen Marika, so Marika could have got the Zamor on her side because of her Newman ties. What else do we have? We know from Flame Protect Me that they were using Fire Monk incantations to protect themselves, so the Fire Monks were there. When we look at, let's move this image up. When we look at the impaled fire giants, we should be thinking about the Briars of Sin, which are coming from the exiled criminals. What else do we have? The trolls betrayed the fire giants. We have to think, why would they betray them? And we know that the Two Fingers also had an interest in the war against the giants, because we find their banner within the giant conquering hero's grave. Haunts, dreams, prophecies? Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Why do we never see Marika's face? There's got to be something interesting if we never see her face. Well, we see her face. We see her profile in the Round Table Hold. I guess you really don't see it that well. Well, that makes me think of Marika Shadow of the Erd Tree statue. Like, this one's interesting. Like, why are these, what are they trying to hide with this? Because it doesn't, these ones don't show her hair, which is the interesting thing. Okay, so that's, we're getting, okay, that was the beginning of the recap, just like looking, okay, who is part of the war against the giants? We have all these different groups coming together with their own interest. Why would the trolls betray? These are exiled criminals. They don't really have a choice in it. The fire monks, they seem to be, have maybe worshipped the flame or the giants beforehand. About the Zamor, we know why Godfrey wants to do it. Godfrey wants to brandish the Elden Ring and the Erd Tree. What about Siraj? We haven't really talked about, what does Siraj bring to the table? I probably have to, I'll put it after this. I'll put that stuff after this. What do we have? Sorry, I'm just looking at the chat now. I think it just looks like Melon. I think we travel with, which is basically Memory Clone America. Yeah, Michael, I agree. Ronnie does pick up her head. Okay, so let's continue with the recap before we go on further with the theorizing. When we look at Smithing Stone 7s, we get, hey, this is people used in the Fire Giants War. Who drops them? Fire Knights and Black Knights. The interesting thing about the Black Knights is what their armor is made out of. Black iron. Who else has black iron armor? Gaius. The Drake Knights, who actually I should put, since we're doing Drake Knights, I should put something about Dragon Communion. Because if we have the Drake Knights here, I'm going to want to, or maybe I should, I got to figure out what order of information this makes sense. The trolls have ties to Carians. Would that be why they betrayed? Yeah, so I think, and I want to hopefully get to that in this outline, that the trolls are all artificial. That the trolls were purposely created as, like, mimics of the fire giants to purposefully betray them. So this goes into, like, you know, we got 5,000 years of history working on. We, in Marika the Eternal, we can start enacting plans for these characters way far in advance, way far back in history. That's why we have to talk about the Sun Realm, so we can see how do these plans transpire. So the story of the Gek is just told out of context to confuse us. Whatever Marika did to become a god and whatever Gek did would be the same story. Yeah, so talking about the confusing thing, we might talk about this. I don't know if this would be part of this video. The Carians, the Nox, and Marika are all in a war against the greater will. And the greater will exists outside of the microcosm. When we look at fleeting microcosm, Elden Ring, you know, this shows the known universe, essentially. So the greater will exists outside of the universe. It's receiving messages from Metter, Mother of Fingers, but what do those messages look like when they're going outside of the universe? How do you fight something that is outside of the universe? You know, what are you supposed to do? Well, you're trying to wrest control, I would think, of your own little universe. They're trying to take control of the universe. Not the universe, of the lands between, because it uses the Elden Beast as its vassals. So these people who are in a war with the Greater Will are trying to fight this outside of the universe godlike entity. But the Greater Will kind of has a view of the lands between of Elden Ring in a similar capacity that we do. It's playing telephone with Metter. It is sending what I would say are messages in the forms of symbols, very similarly to how we view the game. So when we get confused by the lore or the visuals, I would attribute that to how the Greater Will also gets confused. So the way to fight this war against the Greater Will is an information war. You have to protect this information to confuse it. So thinking that Marika and the Gloam-Eyed Queen are two separate people, that helps. When we were talking about my last video, when I talked about the eclipse as a prophecy meeting the Knight of Black Knives, that would confuse the Greater Will, because many people in the community thought the eclipse was supposed to be a literal thing of the sun being blocked out by the moon. So, the Greater Will is looking for a moon to stop it eclipsing. Especially if you watched a previous video of mine where I talked about where is it? So in this video, I said that Deathroot is what creates the Land of Shadow, and it blocks off the view. And if we follow that, the Knight of the Black Knives is the eclipse. So Deathroot is literally eclipsing the Land of Shadow. It's eclipsing Metter, who sends this information. So the Greater Will knows that an eclipse, whatever that's going to be, is going to block off its view of a portion of the lands between, and it's not going to be able to get this information anymore. Lore item descriptions are kind of like a lawyer presenting a case. Things can technically be true. Yeah, so when it comes to the lore items, you have to be careful. So I'll show you with this. Where is it? I think it's the god... Oh, and in this version, it's called Dusk's... Dusk-Eyed Queen? Oh, it's God Slayers. Okay, so I'll give you an example of how we have to be careful with item descriptions. This is the 1.0. This is the description isn't correct here. It's not Dusk-Eyed Queen anymore. It's Gloam-Eyed Queen, obviously. So we look at the Godslayer's Greatsword, sacred sword of the Dusk-Eyed Queen who controlled the Godskins apostles before her defeat at the hands of Maliketh. A lot of people in their theorizing will say Marika and the Gloam-Eyed Queen were at war with each other, and they fought, and Marika had Maliketh kill the Gloam-Eyed Queen. This doesn't say anything about that. This just says that the Gloam-Eyed Queen was defeated by Maliketh. Defeat does not mean killed. It doesn't mean killed. And it doesn't say anything about Marika. All we get is that she was defeated by Maliketh. We also know that, I think it's Scouring. No, it is Black Flame Ritual. We know that the Gloam-Eyed Queen is an Empyrean chosen by the Fingers. What happens when an Empyrean is chosen by Fingers? Well, they should get a shadow. Now you might be saying, well, Melania and Mikola don't have shadows. They don't actually have real fingers, but that's neither here nor there. Just follow me with this line of thought. Where is the Gloam-Eyed Queen's shadow? Where is he? Where is her shadowbound beast to protect her? Well, what happens when Ronnie betrays the Fingers? Blythe goes mad. So what would happen if Marika betrayed the Fingers? her shadowbound beast would also go mad and most likely defeat her. So this is where you have to be, careful with the item descriptions, because it's not lying. It's just not telling you the whole truth by leaving out information. And this is how you would defeat an entity like the Greater Will. You have to confuse it. Things can't be clear. We're doing Elden Ring is a war between an eternal being like Marika and a thing that exists outside of the universe. So you have something that can see all of time and someone who can live through all of time at playing chess against each other. The other thing someone mentioned earlier, where is it? Someone mentioned, does Raya from Volcano Manor have something to do with Mesmer? Yeah, so if we think, this is what we're going to do this theorizing too. Abductor Virgin. Oh, goodness gracious. So we have the abductor virgins with snakes in them. Maybe I shouldn't give these to you guys too soon. Maybe I shouldn't. Not yet. We're not there. We're not ready for that. You guys aren't ready for that. You can join the Discord if you want to know about this stuff. But other thing, abductor virgin, Tanith, Raya. Here's your pieces. Raya, Mesmer, and then Marika statue holding a baby. All right. Those are put those pieces together. All right, you guys got me way off track. Okay, so where was I in my recap? Oh, goodness gracious. Kind of like how my wife defeated the alcoholic I used to be. I'm happy that you're recovering, Michael. That's very good. Let's see. Okay, getting distracted. We're not ready for Volcano Manor. We're still talking about who's fighting there. Okay, so back to the outline. Smithing Stone 7, Fire Knight Helm, drops on the Fire Knights, drops on the Black Knights. The Black Knights are interesting because they have black iron armor like Gaius, like the Drake Knights, like the Fire Monks, like the Fire Prelates, like Maliketh, and like the Beast Claw Greathammer. This is the tough part. I guess I could just say, do I need to put anything for Dragon Communion? Dragon Communion seal. The Drake Knights participate. Partaker of Communion. I don't know if I need that yet. If I get distracted, the videos don't come out. But I will say this stream has been very helpful for me. I was having difficulty getting to this point. I couldn't think of how I want to do this. I guess, these will be all our pieces. So we're just laying out our pieces. Who's part of it? And then we'll break them down. I feel like Gekka's Radigan more than Marika. Both have runes representing the background. So, yes, but no. Very confusing. I'll give you... There are... Hopefully I get to this in this video. I'm hoping this will be like the cliffhanger for this video. There are 2 Marikas. How can there be 2 Marikas? That's how there could be 2 Marikas. Silver Tears. Listen, you just need one well-placed mimic, and everything makes sense. You just gotta get one mimic in the story. Boom, you're all done. Okay. These are all the people who just have black iron armor, including Maliketh. 2 of these guys, the Drake Knights and Maliketh, explicitly tied to Farum Azula. Oh, I should do Garank. It is Garank who we should have. And Garank gives us the Beast Claw Greathammer. How do I want to do this? You know, there's one thing. Gek is Batman to Marika's Bruce Wayne. Yeah, I've never seen them in the same room together. Only 2 Marikas? Well, there's 3 Marikas. You caught me. There's 3 Marikas. There's 3. Yeah, there you go. There's 3 Marikas. Actually, so if you guys want to do mimic hunting, this is how Lost Ashes of War. So this is how I do mimic hunting, looking for mimics in the game. We look at the Lost Ashes of War. Empty Ashes of War, devoid of any memories of battle. Thus does the copy pass into becoming the genuine article. So we have 3, this one line of text has 3 subjects. It has the copy. Okay, so to copy something, you need an original. But then that copy passes into becoming the genuine article. It is no longer, the copy is an original itself now. Like Elden Ring is the genuine article. It's a copy of Dark Souls, and it's a copy of A Song of Ice and Fire, and it's a copy of all the things that they're copying. But because it's copied so much, it's now its own unique, genuine thing. So we get, if we're talking about like the 3 Marikas, to me, you would have the original Marika. Then you'd have the copy of Marika. Then you'd have the copy of Marika who becomes unique in their own. And like they are no longer a copy anymore. They are genuine. And we can, and that's not just like headcanon stuff. We get, we get this through the lore. We get this through analyzing the mechanics of the story. Maliketh, Drake Knight, Banished Knight serve Sunrealm and their 4 fingers. Yes. Marika didn't know she couldn't beat the Giant's Flame. No, she doesn't. Again, we're thinking, we have to think long term. Marika is in a war against the greater will who exists outside of the universe, and she is an eternal being. Eventually, our Tarnished will burn down the Erd Tree because they only have to kill 1 fire giant. He's the only guy protecting the flame. And Alexander's like, whoa. You've practically killed a god. How'd you do that? So everything that happens in the story is you know, it's there for our benefit. Why is Marika in a war with the greater will? Oh, well, isn't that a good one? I would say for freedom. It's order. They don't want to be ordered around in the story anymore, but that's very metatextual. It's very metatextual. We're not there yet. We're not there yet. Guys, we're not there yet. Oh yeah, someone's saying Radigan is a mimic. Yeah, check this out. Hey, you probably haven't seen this. Probably haven't seen this before. Okay, check this out. All right, so here's Marika, okay? And then this is going to blow you away. Watch this. That was Marika, and now now Marika is transforming into Radigan. Okay? Who else can transform into who else can transform their identity at will? The Mimic Tears. Look at that. What would you know? They could change their identity at will. That's just a silly one. I was just being silly. Okay. So we're doing Sarash, Lord of Beasts. What do we find at Farum Azula? Did I add the Stormhawks? Okay. We also find those who live in death carrying the Sunrealm shield. Oh shoot, Radigan is Marika. Yeah, I know. It's a really big twist. Sorry for spoiling the game. Okay. Now we talk about the Sunrealm, because we have tied that because of the Black Iron armor. So we're Radigan. My favorite thing about Radigan's name, the Radigan is a mimic thing. My favorite thing about is his name. His name is Rad Again. And if we look at Born Again, Silver Tear Husk. The Silver Tear makes mockery of life, reborn again and again into imitation. Perhaps one day it will be reborn, O Lord. Reborn again and again. Rad again and again. Reborn again and again. Radigan, 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 Radigan. Rad again, Rad again. Reborn again and again. I think that it's a play on words. So is original Marika gone the whole time / it's Melina? Yeah, so this will hopefully also be in the video. Here's Marika's body. Here you go. Hopefully we'll get to here's the original. Here's the original Marika body, and here's the mimic. Oop. The original, the mimic. Okay. You're getting me distracted again. You talk about mimics and you just throw me off. Not ready to talk about mimics yet. We got to know what the originals are. Okay. So, everyone, here's all the people in Farum Azula, yada yada. Sunrealm shield. Okay. What is the Sunrealm? Well, first we could just look where we find Sunrealm shields. Is it like, oh yeah, you mentioned microcosm, macrocosm. Is it like Kabbalah? Yeah, it's a lot of the spiritual stuff. It could be like Kabbalah. A lot of the spiritual practices that have to do with trying to elevate, like, not like elevate consciousness, but, you know, that whole nine. It's, I don't know. I'm not an expert in it. I read one book. I have to, now this one's tough. I think I have to, how do we want to do this? So what is the Sunrealm? Well, first we could look at the Sunrealm soldiers. So let me do, we find Sunrealm soldiers. Oh. Let me find them here. Let me look up a Sunrealm soldier. Doing the Sunrealm it feels like it's so hard to do it. There's just too much. I need a Sunrealm. Maybe I should just do it. Those who live in death. Those who live in death. Yes, I would say Ensha. I would say Ensha is the human leader of the Sunrealm. So what I want to try and get across here is all of the different factions of the Sunrealm. The Sunrealm is essentially all of the lands between. Oh wait, let me look up a Land of Shadow map. So let me open this image. So we're gonna put in my map. I put oh, okay, whatever. I put this is not to scale. I put the Land of Shadow in the center. This is at the base of the Erd Tree. This is towards the southern part of Landell. This is kind of like in Caelid. And then this part, the Gravesite Plains, is like Ra'u, kind of like fits into here. And then this part, the Gravesite Plains, is like Ra'u, kind of like fits into here. And then this part, the Gravesite Plains, is like Ra'u, kind of like fits into here. And then this part, the Gravesite Plains, is like Ra'u, kind of like fits into here. And then this part, the Gravesite Plains, is like Ra'u, kind of like fits into here. And then this part, the Gravesite Plains, is like Ra'u, kind of like fits into here. And then this part, the Gravesite Plains, is like Ra'u, kind of like fits into here. And then this part, the Gravesite Plains, is like Ra'u, kind of like fits into here. And then this part, the Gravesite Plains, is like Ra'u, kind of like fits into here. And then this part, the Gravesite Plains, is like Ra'u, kind of like fits into here. And then this part, the Gravesite Plains, is like Ra'u, kind of like fits into here. And then this part, the Gravesite Plains, is like Ra'u, kind of like fits into here. And then this part, the Gravesite Plains, is like Ra'u, kind of like fits into here. And then this part, Gravesite Plains is like there's a lake between Liurnia and the Gravesite Plains. There's a lake here. And the Sun Realm would be this area, a little bit of this area, this area right here, not here. Not here. This is Hornsent territory. This is Sun Realm. A little bit of this is Sun Realm. And then the Sun Realm before the Age of the Erd Tree is all of this. It is the entirety of the lands between. But it's not, it's unified kingdoms together. So the Farum Azula could be the dragon capital. Stormvale is the seat of the Storm Lord. Ensha, I don't know where Ensha would be hanging out, but he gives me Lord of Men. He might be Leyndell because his bones are gold, and there's a lot of gold by the Erd Tree. The Academy is a faction. And yeah, and we would tie it the roadways. So if you've ever watched Nameless Singers, this is a really good video. Let's look at the thumbnail. The Gold Road. So she talks about how the road connects everything together. However, she made a mistake in her video. She called it the Gold Road, but it's actually called the High Road. Alphael is part of it too. We actually there is. Hopefully I can get this in the script. Alphael has Sunrealm architecture. Liurnia is Old Town. There's also the Royal Revenants. Those are Sunrealm royalty. So we're looking at... So Sunrealm is... We got this roadway that connects everything from Farum Azula down through Caelid, through Limgrave, down to Castle Morn, up around, through the Academy. The Academy also has sun reliefs. Up through the Academy, through Leyndell. These the elevators are older as well to the than the Erd Tree. The roadway comes up through here, goes to Mount Gelmir, to Volcano Manor, goes through Leyndell. Before these regions are forbidden, they have the Grand Lift this way into the mountaintops. The mountaintops have a bunch of iron ore deposits. So, and it also has 2 castles here, Guardian's Garrison and Castle Sol. So the fire giants are connected there too. If you agree with the theorizing that there was a land bridge between the mountaintops and Caelid before Farum Azula was destroyed, then these would be connected as well. I'm personally of that theorizing. Actually, let me show you that elevator to talk about the age of it. I don't remember which Mimic Commentary episode. Does anyone know in the chat who's watched Mimic Commentary which one we go to the lift? I think it's episode... It's before... I think it's Bellum 1. So this is the Lift of Dectus. Let's see. Hopefully I can show. Okay. So this is the High Road or the Gold Road. If we look at the statues here, we could see that the statues are a different color than the actual stonework. We have the kind of like maiden, the warrior maiden, I think evoking Marika with the spear. Then you have the kind of tree sentinels, but they're mostly like Leyndell soldiers up on the sides, top here and up here. These are all newer statues. But when we get to the elevator, let's skip a bit. When we get to the elevator, oh yeah, we also have this relief on the road. This is in Farum Azula. It is in Loth Castle in Dark Souls 3. It's in Archdragon Peak in Dark Souls 3. It's also in Grand Lift of Rold, and it is in Leyndell, connecting the roadways. But here, look, when we get to the actual lift, these statues are a different stone and a different color than these statues. You can actually see, look, the platforms here, they don't really fit. So these statues are newer. These statues are newer. The ones on the lift are older. So we are seeing right here, and these guys evoke the true Erd Tree Sentinels. They have the tops of their helmets like that, and they have the tree shields and their halberds. This, to me, is showing that before the age of the Erd Tree, we have a unification between the Great Tree capital here, and then on the other side of the... turn around, Jack. Jack, turn around. Show the statues. And these guys, the high priests of the academy. This lift existing way before the Lyrian Wars, way before the war against the Giants. So, yeah, the Sun Realm is a lot of places, a lot of different cultures that are all tied together. How would I describe Marika and her character with one word? Eternal is the way I would describe her. Eternal. Okay. So we have to... Where do we find Sun Realm soldiers? We find them... Well, obviously we find them in Farum Azula. I've streamed... This is my 4th time streaming ever. So where do we find them? We find them here. Love your content. Thanks for thoughtful new approach. Oh, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Okay, where else do we find Sun Realm soldiers? We find Sun Realm soldiers. I think these are the only those who live in death. So outside of Celia, then we find our next set of Sun Realm soldiers at Summonwater Village. We find some under... We find some at this bridge. We find our next set of Sun Realm soldiers. I don't know if we actually find... There's a few bits of... Not any graveyard. Not any graveyard. There are Sun Realm people within the graveyards, but not every graveyard has them. I don't know if Liurnia has any Sun Realm soldiers. We have those who live in death right here. We have some outside of right outside the academy here. We have some here. And then we have a few behind Caria Manor. But I don't think we have any in the catacombs. No, there's no Sun Realm soldiers in the catacombs. They're only out in the overworld. But the catacomb ones are important. I don't think there's any Sun Realm soldiers in Liurnia. Oh, there's also those who live in death outside of the Church of Vows. But we have Sun Realm soldiers here at Windham. Windham has them. So wait, so let me write these. So we have... Where do we have them? Obviously at Farum Azula. We have them outside of Celia. We have them at Summonwater. Yes, the Royal Revenant's there, but we're not there yet. I gotta break down all of this. The problem with Sun Realm stuff for me is, I mean, it's not a problem because it gives me a unique angle to talk about the lore that no one else has, but it's hard to try and explain all of this really complex lore that no one else has like talked about. And it's really, really, really important. It ties a lot of stuff together. Under the bridge in Limgrave, Windham, and I don't think there's any in Mount Gelmir. Then we have outside of Landell. Okay, outside of Landell. And then our last are, actually these aren't our last. We have outside of, there's actually a few more. Outside of Castle Sol. Then where is Shadow of the Erd Tree? Then we have Jagged Peak has a ton of Sunrealm soldiers. Beastmen Sunrealm soldiers. Beastmen. And lastly, Shadow Keep. Shadow Keep, Elden Ring, Sunrealm soldiers. These guys, look at them. They're actually laid to rest in the graveyard here. And Shadow Keep. Oh wait, here we go. That's a good image. Excuse me. Whew. Okay. So we got Sunrealm soldiers all over the place. When we think about a Sunrealm soldier, obviously a soldier. They died fighting in a war. Who would have defeated them? How do I want to go through next? So now we have, they are tied. So we find them all over the place. We find them all over the place. All of these places we have Sunrealm soldiers. We essentially find them. What lands of shadow is there? Sunrealm stuff? Yep. Yeah. You may have not heard me say it before. So if we were to, you know what? Let me open like my Photoshop so I can show this easily. Let's do oval selection. This is gonna be sloppy, so yeah, forgive me. But just to get the point across. Ay. Oh, goodness gracious. Okay. So if I was going to put the Land of Shadow, I'd kind of place it like this. I would kind of place it something kind of like this. And my Sun Realm, so it would have been the Golden Order since the Summer Sword along with their nobility. So it would, well, I don't know what you mean by that. But I will, in this video, I do want to talk about how the Golden Order... well, wait. I gotta find everything. Oh wait, it's opposition. I'm getting distracted again. In the beginning, everything was in opposition of the Erd Tree, but through countless victories, it became the embodiment of order. When we start talking about Deathbirds and Ghostflame, you are going to see how the Golden Order is older than the age of the Erd Tree. I'm going to argue that the Golden Order, that the Sun Realm is under the Golden Order. So I think you're going to find it interesting. Anyway, so what is Sun Realm? Sun Realm would be all this around here, Farum Azula over here. And then if we're looking in the Land of Shadow, how I place it is the Shadow Chalice is beneath kind of like where the Erd Tree is. It's getting Erd Tree sap. The Shadow Keep is an extension protecting the Erd Tree from the southern, from the south. Sun Realm within the Land of Shadow would be Shadow Chalice, these Finger Ruins, the Shaman Village, Manus Meter, the Shadow Altus, and over into here. This isn't really Sunrealm because this is Bale's domain, but Charon's Hidden Grave. So they have a little bit of sliver. They have a little sliver, while the rest, this stuff right around here, this is all Hornsent territory. This is all Hornsent. But the Sunrealm, they have a little bit of a cutout in the Hidden Grave and a little bit into the Jagged Peak. But mostly their territory is here, this part. So if I was going to paint in yellow, here's the Sunrealm. That's Sunrealm. This is Sunrealm. That's Sunrealm. This is Sunrealm. This is Sunrealm. That's the Sunrealm. Yeah, that would be Sunrealm. I'm gonna have to make a nice image for that. Oh yeah, I like. Someone mentioned Loki's writing on the Sunrealm. I like Loki's writing on the Sunrealm. It's very. They do a really good job at thinking about like the political ramifications of like all the places throughout the lands between, and I think that's really fun stuff. You're gonna have to. Well, so this stuff talking about seeing that look Sunrealm and Bellarat, that's gonna tie into the Mikola prophecy. But I don't think we're there yet. Okay, so we have our Sunrealm soldiers. They are those who live in death. All the people who came back to life during the Night of Black Knives. We got Sunrealm soldiers, and we've seen that they are tied to all throughout the lands between. One of the main things that they're tied to is they're laid to rest inside the Shadow Keep. So let's look at our Sunrealm shield again, because now I want to talk about all of the land that the Sunrealm would own. Oh crap! We also have to do Dragon's Domain. Oh, we're not even there to Dragons yet. God, Sunrealm is so complicated. So much to talk about. We look at the picture of the Sunrealm castle, and it looks a lot like. I think I'm gonna open YouTube again. I gotta go to the Godric episode. Do I show the shield here? Here we go. Okay. Okay, that's good enough. Kind of looks like that. Let's also look at Norman style castles. So this is a Norman style castle, kind of looks like this. Very Sunrealm like, kind of looks like the castles on the front. Norman architecture, Norman keeps. So we want to look for castles that look like this to think, okay, well, these are Sunrealm castles. Oh, that image didn't load the way I wanted it to. So we would think of Stormvale Castle, kind of looks like that. Oh, we have to do Castle Ensis too. Is going to need to be in there. Now we'll go lower on the totem pole. Obviously, Shadow Keep. Shadow of the Erd Tree, Shadow Keep. I don't like how that looks. That's a better image. We need, let me look at the map. Where is... Sorry, I'm trying to get all the castles that are owned by the Sunrealm. So we need Fort Faroth. Fort Faroth is in this style. We'll do Stormvale first. Fort Faroth, Castle Redmane. Castle Redmane also, we're going to have to, oh god, okay, we're going down. This is rabbit holes within rabbit holes then, because then, does Helfin tie into the Sun Realm? Yes, it does. Helfin does tie into the Sun Realm. We're going to get there, don't you worry. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. You're seeing how the sausage is made, where the magic happens. We need Fort Height. Fort Height. Okay. Once I get to Helfin, I think I'm going to have to take a break because I think we're going 2 hours and I'm getting hungry. Fort Height. Castle Morn. On our way to Castle Morn, we also have the Lookout Towers. Which look like, wait, Lookout Tower, Weeping Peninsula. I'll take that image. On our way to Castle Morn, we get the Lookout Tower. I need to open up. Yeah, 2 hours. 2 hours. I hope in this video, I've kind of like, also kind of like, delegated myself to saying, I will make this video as long as it's going to be. Because I want to talk about all this stuff, so I don't have to talk about it anymore. So maybe we'll keep doing more streams in the future of impromptu streams. So wait, if you guys haven't watched Nameless Singer's video on this, I'm gonna throw this in chat. You guys should watch this video. She has honestly, watch everything on her channel because she has like the best stuff. She has the best stuff. We get the Lookout Towers. Inside the Lookout Towers are all of these. She's also, you know, she's a George R. R. Martin fan, so that's why she has all the great stuff. I'm looking, she does a perfect image of the Lookout Towers. Yeah, look, she already did all this work. But I don't want to, I'm not trying to bite off what she chew. Yeah. I want, oh, there it is. This is what I wanted. That right here. Inside all of the Lookout Towers, we have the tile, which ties all the roads together, and we find Lookout Towers. And we have 2 in the Weeping Peninsula. We're going to continue with castles in a second. 2 Lookout Towers in the WP. Where else do we have Lookout Towers? Oh, there's 1. There's actually 2 in Liurnia. This map is incomplete. They don't have 2 in Liurnia. 1 outside the Frenzy Flame Village. There's a Lookout Tower in Altus. I think only 1 in Altus. If anyone can help me confirm. Oh, does Faroth also have the body of someone who had their eye sealed by Marika or Radagon? I might actually, I'm kind of leaning towards that might be Radagon's actual eye. It might be Radagon's eye. 1 in Altus. And I don't think there's any more Lookout Towers here, but we also have a Lookout Tower. 1 Lookout Tower right here. And then a Lookout Tower outside. Lookout Tower by Giant Dragon. Shadow of the Erd Tree. Giant Dragon. All right. And we're still doing castles. What was the last castle I did? Castle Morn. Okay, where are the other castles that are Sunrealm castles? I already did Stormvale, right? Yeah, we started with Stormvale. Oh, yeah, maybe defending... Oh, you know, that's actually very interesting. They all face the sea, defending against an invading force. And who would that would be? Night Rain ending. That's actually interesting. I didn't think about that. They said they face... Because it could be this guy. You know, if we're thinking prophecy, did they... Did anything crazy happen? Something crazy is always happening. Oh, we're not there yet. Hey, you slow down. Raya Lucaria, yeah, but that's not the... we're going to talk about Raya Lucaria when we talk about graveyards. Right? I don't know if... I don't know how I fit Raya Lucaria, but the next castle is Caria Manor. Oh, we have to do churches, too. Oh, my God. Everything is Sunrealm. Okay, we need Caria Manor. Horaloo just got killed by a dude, you know? He was just a Badlands chieftain who ran out of time. Okay. Back to castles. Caria Manor. Caria Manor also has those that live in death, but I don't know how I'm going to write that in. Yeah, first we're just doing castles. Oh, Fort... I always forget Fort Lade. Fort Lade. Fort Lade always slips my mind. Oh, too big of an image. Oh, that's a good image. So, Caria Manor. Fort Lade. All road leads to Sunrealm. That's right. It's very important. I swear, once you start looking at the world of Elden Ring, with the knowledge of this, like, oh God, wait, like here's one I want to show you, because I am getting hungry and I want to stop soon. But I want to show you guys something cool. But we'll do this again. So in Mimic Commentary, episode 36, you can watch this now if this one's live. We go into the throne room after Godric, and I was looking at the statues here, and I was like, wait a minute, the Godfrey statue isn't attached to the Sirach relief. This is a new statue put in front of Sirach. So I messaged Scummage Infa, because I play on PlayStation, so I don't have access to this type of stuff. And I asked him, like, hey, can you figure out, are these two separate reliefs? And he's like, yeah, they're two separate objects. So, you know, the purpose of highlighting what is Sunrealm is so when we get to the alliance between Godfrey and Sirach, that the reason why you see Sirach's symbols everywhere is because they're older than Godfrey. And Godfrey essentially stole the symbols of the Sunrealm. He stole the symbols of Sirach, which is very, very interesting. It's very Song of Ice and Fire. Okay, so Fort Castle Redmane, Fort Height, Castle Morn. On our way to Castle Morn. On our way to Castle Morn, we have lookout towers. Oh, hi, Kristen. Let me get the puppy. She's sleeping. Where is she? Kyra. Puppy. What's the Stormlord's position in Sunrealm? He would be the leader of the Stormhawks in the Stormvale region. Kristen's in the chat. She wants to see her puppy. Everybody say hi to my puppy. I love her. She's sleepy. This is not a kitty. This is a dog. Okay. There you go, Kara. I feel like that riled her up. Okay, no, she's good. Which castles are we doing? Okay, so we got back to castles. Caria Manor, Fort Lade. Where are our castles? Our next one. Oh, the next one is going... Oh, Shaded Castle. That's a big one. That should come first. Shaded Castle is awesome. Shaded Castle. Shaded Castle is one of my favorite levels. Hey, Murphy. Shaded Castle. What's next on our map? Oh, Fortified Manor, duh. Fortified Manor. Elden Ring. I want it from the outside. I think I have that in a video. Let's go to oldest. I think it's in this video. As I talk about the Sunrealm all the time. Goodness gracious. Here, this is me doing this in another video. Okay, I don't have it there. Fortified Manor exterior? Fortified Manor exterior? Oh, what about Night Rain? The one in Night Rain looks good. Fortified Manor, Landell. I need a good picture, and I don't want to turn on the game. I need a good reference image. I guess that... I like the front door, though. It has the... Oh, here we go. That's a good one. That's too small. Okay, we'll do this one. That's fine. We'll use this image as my reference. Okay. Now this one's interesting too. We'll talk about this probably in the video when we get to it. The land, like, look at Landell architecturally and how it's so different to the Fortified Manor. So the theorizing that we're going to do for this is how Landell is an old city. It's very, very, very old. And the Fortified Manor is newer. But it's a Sunrealm, it's a Lord of Beasts Sunrealm occupation within this ancient city. Like, Landell is an ancient city. It's futuristic. It's very Song of Ice and Fire, where cities are much older than, like, you know, the people who are living in it. They don't even know who built it. Did I talk about... I didn't do the road... We're just doing buildings first. Okay, yeah, this is fine. Yeah. Because then we'll talk about the roads that connect them and the graveyards and the churches. Okay, yeah, we're it's all coming together. And then the last two is obviously Guardians Garrison. Guardians Garrison. Oh, my dog Kyra loves Murphy. She has a crush on him. And he does not like that she has a crush on him. Guardians Garrison. Guardians Garrison, and Castle Sol. Castle Sol. Ensis. No, it doesn't have to imply that it's newer, because we're thinking about the world is so ancient and so old that technology could be lost. Like you think about how the waygates that the Eternal City use, or the collecting of Starlight Shards. Like, history is so long within Elden Ring that there's magics and powers and ways that things are constructed that people do not know how to do anymore. This is very similar to Storm's End in A Song of Ice and Fire. Storm's End. When Catelyn goes to Storm's End in A Clash of Kings, I think, she is like amazed at how the bricks are like so smooth, like it seems impossible. I don't know which one has the most accurate Storm's End, but it's like, and no one knows who built Storm's End. Like they don't know who built it. Most of the people don't know where these things have come from. And it always bothered me, this idea that throughout Marika's reign, nothing was built. Well, no, things were built through Marika's reign, but just not a lot of stuff was built. Like, one of the things that I would say is built is the Karian Study Hall. This was built during Marika's reign. The Study Hall was definitely built during Marika's reign. If you go into the Study Hall here, I'll show you. Let's go to our playlists. Commentary. What episode was the Study Hall? I think that's 56. No, it's 58. So when we come into the Study Hall, here in the Study Hall, we have a tree relief. So the Study Hall is most likely constructed by someone who's showing the tree and created after the alliance between Liurnia and the Erd Tree, with the Study Hall being something newer. Most likely, I would say, under the construction, under the orders of Radagon to construct this, using Leyndell resources. It's not that she's a thief. It's just like, you know, that's just history, you know? Istanbul was once Constantinople. Yeah, I know you would think Leyndell would be newer than the fortified manor, but it is so magical. It is so resplendent. There is nowhere else like this throughout all of the lands between. This is difficult to build. This is not. Fortified manor, that's easy to build. You know, the Colosseums are something of Godfrey's time. The Colosseums are Godfrey's thing. They need the Colosseums to build to put essentially criminals and gladiators and all that stuff. And the Colosseums aren't. They're in a very similar style to these Norman castles. Could they be older? Sure, but we know that they're like a Godfrey thing. Who's Mesmer's mom? Marika's Mesmer's mom. Oh yeah, he did a Infa has that video. It's like City of Gold or something. He has it. Which video is it? Oh yeah, Leyndell Restored. Yeah, let's go to 2x speed so we can see him change the colors. I'm colorblind. Yeah, he looks at the bricks and they have much more gold on them. So you see it much more beautiful in color. Whoa, that's blurry. But we will, when we start looking at the roads, we're going to see that Leyndell is older than, might be older than the Sun Realm. Who's his dad? Radagon's his dad. Marika, the Gloam-Eyed Queen, Radagon the Mimic. And then we'll get to it. The Abductor Virgin. It all makes sense, I swear. You gotta think. There's more than one Marika. Where else were we? So Castle Sol. Let me do Castle Ensis. And then the Shadow Keep. Okay. Now so now that we did all of the castles, my question is, what do we look at next? Do we look at the Banished Knights armor in the castles, or the roadways that connect them? Marika's the Gloam-Eyed Queen? Yes. Don't worry. That'll be part of the script in this video. Roadways that connect the castles. Okay. That's what I have to think about. I don't know what I want to go through next, because if we do if I do Banished Knights armor in the castles, that is a very actually, that really, yeah, I guess we could do inside is the, we'll do that. I'll do Banished Knights next. The Banished Knights in there. And then I'll have to write why they're banished. Okay. All right. That's going to be for the next stream. Okay, everybody. I hope you enjoyed trying to get this outline together. We're trying to do a Sun Realm video. Sun Realm's got a lot of stuff. Yeah. This is a first draft of our outline. Before we go, any questions? Any questions, comments? Whatever you have. Horlu married Marika, became Godfrey, and received the Dew of the Erdtree. Was Marika Marika, or was she the Gloam-Eyed Queen? And was Radagon the consort of the Gek? So we have, this is how I piece it. And we're going to do this probably, maybe we'll get to this in the next stream. Marika is a shaman from the shaman village. She leaves the shaman village and she becomes the Gloam-Eyed Queen. Queen of the Sun Realm, god to Placidusax. Bale and Placidusax, they get in trouble. And she gets out of there. Then she does some mischief. She does some of her little Marika's mischief. And then she gets Sarash and Horlu together and creates an alliance between this barbarian and the Lord of Beasts. They manipulate the horn scent by looking like their prophesized dancing lion guy. And they're going to go kill the fire giants, do their thing. While Marika is being the Gloam-Eyed Queen, the Mimic comes around and they have a child together. That Mimic is Radagon. And then eventually, Radagon replaces the Gloam-Eyed Queen as Marika. A little fun stuff there. So the Melina being a Gloam-Eyed Queen, we'll try, hopefully we'll get to that in this video too. There's a lot of stuff. We have to first, before we can explain, we have to explain, to get Marika as the Gloam-Eyed Queen, we have to understand the Sun Realm. Like that is the missing, that is like the linchpin. That's the missing piece. We have to understand, what does the lands between look like before the age of the Erdtree? Who are all these people that come together to fight the fire giants? Oh yeah, the Strength of Runes spirituing. That was an excellent comment. I love that. I'm gonna have to integrate that. How did Marika get rid of the Gek? She made Maliketh get mad at herself, and then Maliketh slayed her with destined death. No, not abandoned a part. She is the Gek. It's not a part of her. She is the Gek. But there's three Marikas. Two Marikas. There's three Marikas. Two physical Marikas. No, so a Mimic can change identities. The Mimic is Radagon, and I call her Mimica. Like the person that you see at the end of Elden Ring, like when you see Marika on the cross, and then she turns into Radagon, That is the Mimic. That is one singular entity who can switch between two identities, who happens to also be aligned with the original Marika. Melina is also Marika. How do we know Marika? Melina is also Marika because, well, I'll leave you with this. Melina does not have any memories. She has amnesia, okay? If we look at the, I don't know how to spell. How do you spell juvenile? I guess I'll do scholar. This is what I leave you with. Okay. Well, I don't know how to spell juvenile, so I gotta do this. Oh, wait, I could just do oblivion. Okay. Melina has no memories. She's an amnesiac. Juvenile scholar cap. Cap worn by young Academy scholars. The juveniles birthed anew by the amber egg of Queen Renala, the head of Raya Lucaria Academy, yet their rebirth is not without imperfections, and thus do they repeat the process, eventually becoming utterly dependent on it. Rebirth is as sleep to them, and with each awakening, memory fades into oblivion. So when someone is reborn, they lose their memories. Okay? Now you might be thinking, oh, so that means Melina is a silver tier mimic of Marika? No. Because you're thinking of these larval tiers. You're thinking of the cores of creatures of mimicry. But there's two larval tiers in the game. In Shadow of the Erd Tree, you get the real larval tears. You get the original larval tears, which burgeon from spirit graves and lives only a fleeting existence, neither flesh nor spirit, but something in between. This is somebody's soul. The larval tears are mimicking these larval tears. It's a mimic of a soul. So that's how I get it. And Kyra is bothering the cats, so I gotta cut it there, guys. I hope you enjoyed this stream, and maybe next time we stream we'll keep working on this video, and then eventually we will have a very cool video about the Sun Realm and maybe the Gloam-Eyed Queen. Depends on how long it is. You know what, screw it. I want this video to be as long as however it needs to be. Yes. Gek dies, replaced by Mimica, reborn as Amnesia and Melina. Yeah, so the other tie to this is twinned. Sorry, when I talk about mimics, you get me excited. Twinned armor. The two known as D are inseparable twins. They are two bodies and two minds, but one single soul. That's three. We have three here. We can have Marika, the mimic, and the soul, which is Melina. So a lot of cool stuff we can do with this. Elden Ring has a lot of fun stuff. All right. I appreciate you all watching the stream, having a good time. If you don't watch already, please consider going onto my YouTube channel and watching. Go on my YouTube channel and watch the Mimic commentary. Go watch this. It's really good. It's where all the real theorizing happens. All right. See you guys. Bye.